The world knows Yemen as a war-torn, famine-stricken land of sorrow. But is that the whole story of Yemen? Behind the headlines lies another Yemen, a Yemen the world rarely sees or hears about, a place where time seems to stand still, waiting for you. Today, you will witness how this tearful land of the Muslim world has preserved a rich history for thousands of years through its struggles. Prepare yourself for a journey through time. Let's travel back to the unseen Yemen, an expedition into nature, culture, and heritage. There are places on Earth so strange they feel like fragments of another planet. Socotra Island, located about 100 miles off Yemen's southern coast, is one of them, a surreal dream within reality. Due to centuries of isolation, nearly 1/3 of its plant and animal life exists nowhere else on Earth. Among them, the most famous is the dragon blood tree. When its trunk is cut, it releases a deep red sap like dragon's blood. Ancient legends say this tree was born from the blood of a dragon. With its umbrella-shaped canopy, it survives by absorbing moisture from mountain mist, a remarkable adaptation of nature. But Socotra is not just rocky plateaus and silence. On the western side lies Shibam Beach, so remote that it can only be reached by boat. As you sail, dolphins often swim alongside, a sign of good luck according to locals. They believe it means a plentiful catch that day. Before setting out, fishermen light small fires on the shore, seeking blessings. Here, the sea is not just a source of livelihood, it feels like a living spirit, carrying memories of nature. Leaving the green wonders of Socotra, we enter Yemen's scorching deserts. There stand the ancient pillars, the ruins of the temple of Queen Bilqis. Rising through the sands, these columns hold the memory of a civilization thousands of years old. But memories are not preserved only in stone. Sometimes they live on in mud walls and human faith. In the Wadi Dowan Valley lies the village of Haid al-Jazil, perched dramatically on a massive rock. From afar, it looks as if the houses have grown out of the stone itself. There are no roads, only silent mountains and a deep valley below. For centuries, people have lived here battling floods and harsh nature. To survive, the village was built high above, like a fortress. The walls are made of mud and straw, repaired generation after generation. At sunset, the red houses glow against the mountains, while the echo of the call to prayer rises through the valley. Locals say the valley may forget many things, but it never forgets those who live on its cliffs. Here, life is not built in monuments, but in daily struggle, in digging earth and repairing walls. This quiet resilience proves that human patience and hope can overcome even stone. In the desert lies another wonder, Shibam, the Manhattan of the desert. Its towering mud buildings rise as if competing to touch the sky. Though fragile in appearance, they have stood for centuries, surviving floods, storms, and time. Repaired again and again by human hands, this city proves that even mud can hold sky-high dreams. Now, let's move to Yemen's western mountains, the Haraz Range. There, you'll find Al-Hajara, a village clinging impossibly to steep cliffs. It looks as though the houses were carved directly from the mountains. Built with stone, without modern binding materials, they have withstood earthquakes and storms for centuries. The thick walls keep homes cool in summer and warm in winter. Narrow alleys allow mountain air to flow through the village. Here, one rooftop becomes another's courtyard. Life moves up and down through stair-like pathways. Below, terraced fields stretch down the mountains like green steps leading to the sky, built through generations of human labor. At dawn, the perfect alignment of these terraces reveals a harmony between nature and human effort.
creating a garden even in the harshest land. Now we arrive at Sana'a, the heart of Yemen, one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world. Its mud houses with white patterns and stained glass windows whisper stories of the past. Walking through its narrow streets feels like stepping back in time. The call to prayer echoes from minarets, while centuries of memories rest upon the rooftops. Even today, people sip morning tea while sharing old stories, and in the evening, they listen to the city's timeless rhythm. Despite war and change, Sana'a has not lost its soul. It remains a living heritage where the past walks alongside the present. At its core stand two sacred remnants of history: the Great Mosque, believed to be built during the lifetime of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the ruins of Al-Khalis Church. The mosque carries centuries of devotion within its simple white arches. The church, built in the 6th century by Ethiopian rulers, once was adorned with marble and mosaics brought from Constantinople. Today, only a few broken columns remain, silent witnesses of a forgotten era. From the quiet isolation of islands to the vibrant streets of ancient cities, this journey through Yemen is not just geographical, it is a journey through memory and faith. If every country is a whisper, then Yemen is a powerful symphony, unfamiliar yet deeply familiar to the soul. Behind the news of war lies a land where time still breathes and ancient lights still shine. This was just a glimpse of the unseen Yemen. There are countless such hidden wonders across the world waiting to be discovered. Until the next journey, stay well. Thank you.
The world knows Yemen as a land of war, hunger, and sorrow. But what if that's not the full story? What if, hidden beneath the dust of conflict, there's a Yemen still breathing, still waiting to be discovered? Let me tell you a story, not of war, but of time, memory, and survival. On a quiet evening, a young traveler named Ayan stood at the edge of the Arabian Sea. He had only seen Yemen through headlines, destruction, pain, despair. But something inside him whispered, "Hunak qissa ukhra." There is another story. So he began his journey. His first destination was Socotra, an island that didn't feel real. As his boat cut through the waves, dolphins appeared beside him, dancing in the sea like silent guides. The locals smiled and said, "Today will be a good day." On the island, Ayan stood before the dragon blood trees. Their strange umbrella shapes stretched into the sky, and when one was gently cut, red sap flowed out. It looked like blood. An old man beside him said softly, "Legends say a dragon once died here, and the earth never forgot." Ayan realized this land doesn't just hold nature, it holds stories. Days later, he reached a silent valley, Wadi Doan. There, high above the ground, stood Haid al-Jazil, a village balanced on a rock. Ayan climbed slowly, his breath heavy. At the top, he met a young boy repairing a cracked wall. "Why do you fix it every time it breaks?" Ayan asked. The boy smiled, "Because this is our home, and home is not something you abandon, it's something you rebuild." At sunset, the call to prayer echoed through the valley. For a moment, everything stood still, and Ayan felt something he hadn't felt before: peace. His journey continued to Shibam, the city of towers. Mud buildings rising like skyscrapers in the middle of the desert. Ayan couldn't believe it. How can mud touch the sky, he wondered. A local man laughed and said, "It's not the mud that stands tall, it's the people behind it." Floods had come, storms had passed, but the city stood again and again, because every time it fell, someone chose to rebuild. Then came the mountains of Haraz,
villages hanging on cliffs as if gravity had forgotten them. Ayan met an old woman carrying water up narrow stone paths. "Isn't it hard to live here?" he asked. She paused, looked at the endless mountains, and replied, "Hard? Yes, but beautiful things are never easy." Below them, green terraces flowed like steps toward the sky, built by hands, maintained by hope. Finally, Ayan reached Sana'a, the heart of Yemen. Walking through its narrow streets felt like walking through history itself. Ancient houses, glowing windows, whispers of centuries. He sat on a rooftop as the sun disappeared behind minarets. Beside him, an elderly man sipped tea. "Why does this city still feel alive?" Ayan asked. The man smiled gently, "Because we never let it die." That night, Ayan looked at the stars. He thought about everything he had seen. This wasn't the Yemen he knew. This was a Yemen of resilience, of quiet strength, of stories carved into stone, mud, and memory. And maybe that's the real Yemen, not the one the world talks about, but the one that survives, silently, patiently, beautifully. So next time you hear the name Yemen, remember this journey. Because some places are not defined by their pain, but by their ability to rise above it.